Ayy, look, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
Let's go ahead and move into this MVP conversation, man. Who do you guys think should be in the consideration for the front runner right now? And no, LH, don't say George Pickens, buddy.
Man, if I were to say a Steeler play, it would have been the one I was wearing right now, man. But
what?
Come on, man.
I'll let you guys take the stand first. I want to hear you guys out first.
And I don't know, like the quarterback play in the league right now. Like I'm not gonna say like
it's not like a clear front runner.
Like you know, Mahomes just had his worst game, you know, probably of his career against the Broncos. He's downright terrible. Josh Allen has had his moments where he's played bad this season. Lamar Jackson had that down game against the Steelers, which really wasn't his fault, but again, counts against him. You know, Tua, the narrative against him was the 2 games. He was unable to beat 2 elite teams. And so I sit here thinking, you know, should a guy like Tyreek Hill be in consideration for the MVP with the pace that he's on in terms of the receiving yardage and just his overall play? But again, this is a quarterback type of award. So for me, I can't lie. The front runner, it's Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson's having an absolute monster season, and the stats are kind of underselling him with how great he's been. Even this last game that he played against the Cardinals, he was great. And even then, Gus Edwards had 3 touchdowns. You know, it kind of undersold what Lamar Jackson was doing. But the completion percentage are at an all-time high for him. He's just hitting passes left and right. The rushing is still there. The ability to make plays outside the pocket. We saw what he did against the Lions. He absolutely dismantled them. And that's kind of what we're accustomed from Lamar Jackson. This type of offense, it's suited to him. You know, it allows him to make plays with his feet and allows him to make plays inside the pocket. And so for me, he's a front runner with how the Ravens are looking right now. I think they're an absolute juggernaut. And to me, they're the biggest threat when it comes to knocking off the Chiefs, man.
Before we go ahead and move on, finally, Big H was able to join us tonight. Welcome on in, buddy. And I'm gonna put you on the spot. MVP. Who you guys are front runner?
Number 1, Lamar Jackson right now.
Okay. Yes, sir. Come on, man. Big trust.
My boy LJ, man. Big trust in that 6-2 right now, man. Very
really,
efficient.
Once my guy Tua gets that signature win, we're running off with him. I'm telling you that.
Tua just needs one. That's the thing.
One signature win.
He's
That's
still
all it
chasing
takes.
that signature win.
Hey, I mean the stats are there, bro. The stats are there, and obviously like Reed could get it as well.
The stats are there for Josh Allen too, man.
Yeah,
stats are there for Josh Allen, man.
Hey, man, we got 2 nice guests on the pod, though, man. Shout out to my guys, man. 2 familiar faces, you know. One's a Steelers fan, the other's a Raiders fan. The Raiders, tough loss, you know what I'm saying? Tough loss. Man.
Let's avoid that conversation right now.
A lot of problems. The guy on the bottom of the Steelers jersey, a lot of outrageous stuff that he be saying, but I'm going to go check him on this pod.
Yes, sir. Hold him accountable.
You ready for it?
But for me, though, to get back to this MVP conversation, I think number 1, if I had to, it's a quarterback award. So if I had to pick a quarterback, I would say Lamar Jackson. But for me, the second quarterback would obviously be Tua. But the only thing that's holding him back right now, and what's hurt in this case, is number 1, just the fact that people are kind of downplaying how good he's been so far for the Miami Dolphins. They just don't know how much credit to give him. Is it Tua? Is it Tyreek Hill? Is it Jalen Waddle? Is it this offensive scheme that they run, Mike McDaniel's offense? You know, they're saying that, you know, obviously Tua he's not this type of quarterback without Tyreek Hill, but they're just you know, picking at straws and things of that nature. But for me, Lamar Jackson will be 1. 2, if he's able to go ahead and get a win against the Kansas City Chiefs upcoming week, you know, the discussion might be a little different. But if this award wasn't for a quarterback, if this wasn't a quarterback award, Tyreek Hill would easily be number 1 right now, because just based on the fact that he's already surpassed 1,000 yards in only 8 weeks of football. They haven't had their bye week yet, but by the time their bye week hits around post Germany, he'd probably be around somewhere around 1,100 yards, maybe even 1,200 yards, depending on what type of game he has against his old team. So that for me is my MVP pick for sure.
I can't see Tua ahead of Josh Allen though. Like the reason I say that is, 1, I think Tua has 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Josh Allen has like 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He has 5 rushing touchdowns. And on top of that, he kicked 2 on the chest, man. Literally, like, when they matched up against each other, Josh Allen gave his team to work, man. He embarrassed him.
I just think that Jets game kind of derailed Josh Allen.
But the thing is, though, Josh Allen, the thing is with him is that he'll do so amazing, right? Like he kicked Tua in the chest. The following week, he went on the road and played the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. And what happened there? They weren't able to get a win. Then they come back and they bounce back and they win another game and they lose a game they're supposed to win to the New England Patriots. So I feel like, Tua's losses are bad as well. Don't get me wrong. He hit the 2 losses that they got to the Philadelphia Eagles and then, of course, to the Buffalo Bills. But other than that, Tua's doing his job. He's beating teams that he's supposed to beat. Josh Allen's losing the teams he's supposed to beat. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Would y'all have Jalen Hurts instead of Tua or ahead of Tua?
No.
Yes.
No, not at all. Not a chance.
100%. I'll take Jalen Hurts over Tua.
Talk to me, LA.
No, he's talking about MVP race though, not in general.
MVP race, yes, sir. MVP race. Me personally, this might be a hot take to some of you guys. I love LJ Lamar Jackson, my favorite quarterback. Even though he's my division rival, I'm a big fan of him. But my MVP front runner is Jalen Hurts. And he might be having a lot of turnovers this season, but name any other quarterback that we just named right now that's not having a lot of turnovers.
He's second to picks under Jimmy G, by the way.
I think everybody has like what 8 interceptions or something.
They all
like
have
that?
8 interceptions.
Yeah,
so
8, 9.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, they all do. But AJ Brown's having an amazing season, and that wouldn't be happening if his quarterback's not getting him the ball. The same way Tyreek's having an amazing season, it would not be happening if his quarterback wasn't getting him the ball. The stretch that AJ Brown is having and Jalen Hurts giving him the ball is reminding me of the 2007 Patriots when it was Randy Moss and Brady. Everybody remembers that historic 16-0 season. And also it's the schemes that they run. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love, people don't like it, but it's part of the game. Just like how they say Tua has Tyreek, and who would he be without Tyreek, or Jalen Hurts would have these touchdowns for the touch push. You got to put yourself in those positions. He's not the quarterback that's going to put himself in the 4th and 11. They always keep themselves in 3rd and shorts. If it's 3rd and 11, they'll know to break it down to like a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, or 4th and 2 area and get the touch push.
Unstoppable play.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts against week 8, he threw for 4 touchdowns, and was, he's not running the ball as much because he's dealing with slight injuries, and he's still putting up amazing numbers. My MVP take is Jalen Hurts. I would say Lamar Jackson, but Lamar's shooting himself in the leg sometimes. Like you guys said, against the Steelers, it wasn't his fault until it was his fault. It wasn't his fault when all those wide receivers were catching those or dropping those passes.
Yeah, to throw a fade route to OBJ's old ass.
When it was his turn to throw that fade route into the end zone as a veteran quarterback, a former MVP, that's supposed to be your bread and butter. Let's take this home, And he threw an interception to an up-and-coming rookie, Joey Porter Jr., and that's what it was. It wasn't his fault till it was his fault, and it was his fault at that moment. He has games where he should have won against the Colts, and he lost, so... And same with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's been, I wouldn't say Josh Allen's been playing ugly football, but if you guys watch the Bills games, there's been a lot of ugly games besides the Miami game, And even the Miami game, Tua is only on one side of the ball. And, you guys said that Josh Allen gave Tua that spanking, that old school ass whooping, but Tua's only on one side of the ball, man. And if that offense is still putting up double digits, that defense has to come and show up for Tua. That's my take. Jalen Hurts, baby.
It's a fair assessment.
Only thing I'm against with Jalen Hurts is just like I feel like his general play comparing to last year is just like taking a nosedive in terms of like his passing, protecting the football, just how he is as a quarterback. This last week he had a monster week, but before that, I felt like everybody was talking about, the Eagles are still winning, even though the offense hasn't been good. The red zone offense has been inefficient compared to how it was last year. Last year, they're complete animals when it came to the red zone. This year, they're not as good in the red zone. It was a struggle, and everybody was saying, well, it's not a worry. They'll figure it out. They still run the ball. And the next thing, Jalen Hurts starts having a couple bad games, starts stringing games where he's unable to really complete passes. He's able to get the ball to AJ Brown, but outside of that, the offense isn't really performing to its level. I think when I look at it like overall in the season, I think game by game, like I feel like those other 3 guys that I mentioned, like Lamar and Tua and Josh Allen, I feel like they've had an overall better season, like when you compare week by week. But again, Jalen Hurts, he has 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, I think 6 rushing touchdowns already. So it's not like he's not unable to be, that type of guy. But I feel like I just need to see a couple more weeks of that type of play.
Hey, can I stop you right there? You got to look at it this way. You see, the offense gets better week by week, right or wrong, with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's with the new coaching staff. You know, if they had the same coaching staff from last year, they would have been out the gates with it. You know, so now it's like they're adjusting to everything. You have DeAndre Swift, hometown hero, coming through, adjusting to the offense. You know, being a hybrid of a power back and a slasher. You know, so it's week by week they're getting better, and they're still the top team in both the AFC and the NFC. So it's gonna be a long ride for Philadelphia Eagles, but they're getting it together slowly but surely.
Bandit, I'm very, very surprised you're not sitting here advocating for Trevor Lawrence, man. Jaguars are one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
The Prince, they're winning, but they're winning in ugly ways. So I mean, statistically, he's not doing as hot, but they're winning games, so I can't really vouch for him on this. This is a conversation I have to sit out, but I'm a big advocate for the Prince. You know, hey, you already know what happens, man. Hey, we're what's it called? We won a national championship together. You can ask him.
I was direct. I was there.
It's the Jaguars' offense just hasn't been exactly what everybody's
clicking.
It hasn't been like they've been getting wins, but their defense has been playing really, really well. You know,
I will say this though. I think Calvin Ridley's really going to figure it out later in the season because Zay Jones is not there yet. So he's kind of running the Zay Jones routes. He's running the deep routes, kind of the decoy routes. But once he's back, that's going to affect Calvin Ridley's game, and he's going to come back and obviously have a better late year.
Yeah. I really like the Jags. I really like
Travis Etienne's been amazing, man. He's been
cooking.
Going crazy to start off the year.
Yeah, and that Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, they're gonna click too, just like that duo in Cincinnati. You know, when you have a college teammate that you played with and you guys are
familiar with each other.
You know, it's almost a similar story. They both went and won a national championship together, just like Burrow and Chase did. You know, and you see how they clicked in the NFL. Doug Peterson, amazing coach. That defense, amazing. Trevor Lawrence, great quarterback, great wide receiver, very underrated wide receiver room over there.
I feel like Christian Kirk's doing really well this year.
Yeah, and Calvin Ridley's getting the hang of it. You know, they were against my team, Pittsburgh. I seen a lot of Calvin Ridley that game. He was getting us in the seams. You know, big catches. All his catches were big catches. It wasn't.
He's a wide receiver that needs to run like the intermediate routes, like kind of the cutbacks and stuff. They got him running the deep routes, so that's not him.
That's a guy that would hit the ground running after being suspended and out of the league for so long, man.
Yeah, you got to be hungry for it.
Yeah.
As a fantasy owner, I gotta say I'm not happy. I'm not pleased, man.
Believe me, hey, I'll tell you this, man. Just hold. Just hold.
Just gotta hold the line, man. I gotta faith that things will be better.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Being out late now, that's overkill.